Good morning, this is Bill from Europa, Naples, and today I'm fighting these rather menacing looking ducks who just flew in. I think we've got a couple here, so we can zoom in there. They're kind of keeping an eye on me. They're wagging their little rumps and otherwise just acting like all's well until they come flying in for an attack. Hopefully that won't happen. We also have a guy doing a weed whacking over there, so this is about to get really ridiculous. Let's do this quick. That said, see if I can zoom back out. There it is. I've got this 1998 Porsche 911 Targa. This is a pretty rare beast. Only about 122 of these came to the United States and Canada in 1998. They were particularly expensive. They were particularly good looking, and they just flew off the shelves. Also, there it is. He's got a star right there. All right, so I had paused it for a minute to let that weed whacker go away. And I just noticed we have a third duck sitting over there sort of looking on from the trees. So anyway, here we are, 1998 Porsche 911 Targa. This thing is bad to the bone. It's the last 993 chassis car to come to America. As I said, about one of 122 Targas that made it here in 1998. It is widely considered to be the pinnacle of the air-cooled 911. The 993 in general is. Some people would argue that the 97, 98, maybe I can't remember 96 when they got the final little horsepower boost. And what it reminds me of is, if you remember the first Star Trek movie, there's this big menacing probe that starts attacking Earth, making its way, killing everything in its path, and they're trying to figure out what it is. I'm kind of letting my science fiction geekdom come out here, but anyway, the point is, when the probe got there, they figured out that it was actually the Voyager spacecraft that had been sent into the depths of the galaxy, centuries ago. It was modified, it was made smarter, it became something entirely different while still being the Voyager spacecraft. And this last generation air-cooled 993 is a little bit like that. I mean, it takes everything that was good, from every generation of these, fat-rumped ass engine 911s, and did away with the worst of it, emphasized the best of it, and here it is, the 993 in its final incarnation. So don't tell anyone this was designed by a British guy. I don't know that Ferdinand Porsche would like to hear that, but what that guy did is fantastic. He essentially took some of the terrific design elements from the 959, that rounded front bumper, the sort of recessed bug-eye headlights, the wide rump, the vents and whatnot, and, made it into, a more accessible 911 for the masses. You can see this one's finished in a beautiful metallic silver outside. It's got big 4-piston brakes at the ends. This 996, they did away with the trailing arm suspension that was frankly lethal for somebody who wasn't a really good driver, and even some people who were. What that meant is if you let off the throttle, halfway through a corner, this thing would snap around like a whip crack and, put you in the wall. To some extent that still holds true. You better keep this thing floored around the corners. But it became a lot more forgiving with a very nicely updated rear suspension. Now, being a Targa, you see it has that big glass roof that's absolutely beautiful. Thank God the fog's wearing off a little bit. This is all fully power activated. This was a one-owner car with just 47,000 miles. The guy used it here in his condo. And to his credit, he used the Targa feature just about every time he got in the car. So, nothing helps an engine or a device out like usage. This thing, the Targa top, got a fair amount of usage. And as a result, it functions absolutely like new. You put one of these things in a museum, you never run the top. The first time you do, it's probably all going to explode. It's all original paint. It's mint. You can see the clarity of those taillights, how crisp they are. Nice little subdued bumperettes. Big twice pipes at the back. Beautiful 17-inch alloys on there, riding Michelins. You see, I still got some mist and fog on the hood, but what the hell. High-intensity discharge headlamps. There's a K40 radar detector that was installed by the dealer. Still works good and very nicely done. And anyway, all around, this thing is just an absolute showpiece. So let's start inside the business end of this thing. The release for the engine bay is right here. Give that a tug. And here we will find with the Ram intake, which bumped this thing up to 282 horse, a 3.6 liter horizontally opposed flat six engine. You know, if you want to call it the ultimate incarnation of the Beetle engine, you can. It's fine. You know, I think Porsche guys are used to hearing that, and then live with it, because going back to the 50s and 60s when, you know, Porsche purism was a little bit more obscure than it is today, it created an almost religious fervor amongst its supporters. You know, people would make a Beetle joke and they'd say, yeah, you know, as I shift into third and hit 90, you know, I'm not sure we're doing too much like a Beetle, but anyway, there it is. So that is the ultimate development of the flat six air-cooled engine. After this, it was water-cooled, and you know, having driven this thing, having played with it a little bit, I'm a little more sympathetic to the purists and what they're talking about. This really is a truly special time in the automotive world. This car probably lived another 10 or 15 years beyond its true, you know, designed obsolescence, if you will, and became something that was really driven by the purists of the world and by the devoted car guys at Porsche. This thing's just an amazing machine. It has so much soul. You know, true to Mr. Porsche's original design. You know, you could compete at Le Mans, you can, you know, do 170 mile an hour blast on the highway, you can daily drive it, and, you know, otherwise it's just an incredible all-around vehicle. So, under the hood, you can see hood, frunk, everything in nice shape. There's a Porsche accessory car cover, Porsche accessory charger, some additional floor mats, or maybe the only floor mats. A little bag of tools. I'm going to zero in on that sticker for the folks who want to pause it and check out the options on this car. But anyway, we're talking show quality under the hood, mint as it came, never touched up, exactly what you want to see. Also with this 993, it's kind of the last overbuilt Porsches in terms of design quality and features. You know, it just became impossible for Porsche to be you know, a producer of cars with any volume and make good money on them the way they wanted to while building cars to this level. This has a full leather dashboard. You see this fantastic little security bubble there. It's got these window switches straight out of a 1982 model. Your power mirrors, incredible craftsmanship and quality, beautiful fit and finish. The way it all goes together, the way it all feels is just terrific. These seats, 100% original, never been leathermatic. You have a little bit of patina there, exactly what you'd want to see from a collectible viewpoint. They're full power on both sides, and absolutely lovely. There in the back, you can see those famous fold-down rear guys. If you want some cargo, you got it. Otherwise, you can stuff a couple Canadians back there for a short trip. They won't be too miserable. Also, the Porsche crest in the headrest. Nice stuff. All right, let's hop inside and fire it up. Let's have to find the key. This one you seem to have to lock and unlock sometimes to get it to start up. I don't know if that's a security feature or what, but a little bit annoying. Anyway, let's crank it up, get a little AC going. Oh, there it is. All right, so unlock, lock. All right, perfect. AC, beep, that's the K40. All right, and everything lovely. So here you can see this 5-gauge layout that goes back 30 years of Porsche design, maybe even further. That's the, oh my God, look at the ducks. They're getting close. Look at that. They have no fear, these things. The thing's an old battle axe. They'll come right up to you. All right, let's close the door. All right, so anyway, 5-gauge layout, classic Porsche. Beautiful leather-wrapped steering wheel. With the full leather, it has this beautiful leather-wrapped dashboard. The fit and finish, the quality, is just absolutely immense. I love the white face gauges with the black trim. You see just 47,000 miles on the clock. All the little hieroglyphics that are just so German and so Porsche. You know, really does, you know, have a very special feel to it. You know, gauge package here, sorry, the climate control straight out of the 80s or 70s. You know, the way everything works, you know, the way it pulls, the way it feels, how tight it is, even down to the radio made by Becker, is just lovely. The fit and finish, again, the craftsmanship in this car is epic and immense. We have a big set of books on it and keys and all that. I'll have pictures of that. You can see down here the center console, great shape, no fade on that carpet. You've got your hazard switch, your keys, this turns off any exclamations, any, you know, warnings. You can say, yeah, I saw it, okay, it's off. There's your K40 control. Let's start with the Targa by running that sunscreen forward. You can see works nice and smooth. And if you drive this way, you've got this beautiful big glass area on top. One push of the button back, it vents the front. A second push and hold, and down goes the Targa top. And that is just fantastic. All of a sudden, you have this giant area above you. Very classic Porsche style. Let's get our window. Oh, yeah, now we got the blower going. All right, windows back up. Let's just go for a spin. Get the seatbelt on if I can. You know, the cabin is a little bit confining. It's not giant in here, but the truth is you forget all about it the minute you start getting in and driving. Even the beautiful leather-wrapped e-brake with the Porsche logo, the 6-speed manual gearbox shifter. That was the first 6-speed in the 911 were these 993s. I'm gonna get my Targa back up. See how smooth that works. That'll only come because the guy used it. I'm telling you, that's just fantastic. All right, away we go. So driving the 993, you just absolutely feel like you're in a living, breathing machine. It responds to every move you make. It feels so firmly planted to the road, while at the same time being incredibly nimble. With that new rear suspension, it just became so balanced. It improved the standard ride a little bit. It doesn't bang and bump over every crease in the road the way the earlier versions did, while it still maintains so much of the original's joy of driving. Oh, and that Varioramente, it really does increase the rev band, makes it nice and fat. Let's feel that. Do you hear that depths of sound? It's like, you know, an oboe or some kind of instrument that Mozart would have loved to use. Absolutely beautiful sound from the rear end of this thing. Going down the road, it just pushes you back. You really just feel like you're part of an incredible machine. You know, these things have skyrocketed in value. And, you know, everyone ties it a bubble. Is it, you know, something that's going to change? Because, you know, they aren't Ferrari scarce, although this Targa is. But the truth is, no, I don't think it will. And the reason being, it's the end of an era that'll never come again, ever. I mean, the whole air-cooled thing lived on so far past its natural time. It was developed well beyond what was intended. And this is truly one of the last unique vehicles that's, you know, incredible to drive, incredible to own. And, you know, just feels so different from everything else. You know, so many the company, they use off-the-shelf parts for their suspensions, their engine management, their engines, their trannies. This didn't. Every part in this car was just sort of unique to it. So anyway, if you have an interest, this is a 1998 Porsche 911 Targa, 47,000 miles, one owner, beautiful color combination, been loved on since new. Got to go back and grab something. But anyway, it is a fantastic machine to put in the garage and collect, drive sparingly, and watch it go up in value. Oh, God, what a sound. Anyway, thanks so much for having a look. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you with the next one. Take care.